Welcome to the lab. This is episode 30, the big 3-0. So we got Kel and Cody here, and we're going to be talking about the holidays. And I know they seem kind of far away, but they'll be sneaking up
They
on
will
us
come
here before
fast.
you know it.
I feel like once October is over, they just like get here so quickly.
So fast. Well, and that's what I was like looking up. Like November is like 2 weeks away.
Yeah,
So
yeah. It's like 1 minute it's not even Halloween yet, and the next minute you're last minute Christmas shopping for your parents, and you don't know what the fuck to get them, right?
yep,
So
yep.
yeah,
But before we get into that, how are you doing today?
pretty good. Just got back from Texas because my client Seth was competing in the transformation division in summer shredding. That was a very interesting experience because I don't know who's familiar with Alphaland. So, like, Christian Guzman, the owner of Alphalete, has basically the Disneyland of fitness built in Houston, Texas. And it's like a massive gym. There's three separate gyms. And they all each have like a different vibe. So you got like the first gym that's air conditioning, all brand new equipment. Then you have the second gym, not air conditioning. It's like a warehouse. They got the doors open, and it's all the old equipment from his first gym, his Alpha League gym. So it's a little jankier, a little dirtier, but it's like outdoors, and people like work out with their shirts off and shit like that. Then there's another gym that is also more outdoors. It's like a smaller, little thing with some like dumbbells and a few other machines. I'm not really sure the point of that gym, but it exists, is there. And like they have like Alpha Cafe. It's just like it is the influencer mecca. I feel like I have never felt so old in my life. It was like everyone was ranging from 15 to 20 years old, and they all had like a full social media team and entourage, and I was just like, what the fuck? Like, I need to go home. But it was also, like everyone was there, trying to build their brand. They're doing their hustling and stuff like that. So I can respect that. It just felt very strange to like see, if you can imagine seeing
Influencers in the
like,
wild.
yeah, exactly like that. You're like, wow, like all this stuff is the behind the scenes of what's going on, their Instagram, YouTube, and stuff like that. And, I'm guilty of it too, but like, it's just very strange to see from the outside. But it was good. It was really fun. Uh, you know, Seth didn't place, but he's okay. He's just like more on fire to, improve and stuff like that.
Hell yeah.
But oh yeah, also I got a third opinion for my knee. Saw a
Second, third.
sports doctor, and it was kind of like the most different experience I've had yet. Um, like right off the bat, essentially he sent me for a CT because I got a high tibial osteotomy, and he doesn't think that my bone healed completely after, because they have to use a bone graft after they put like a wedge. This is way too complicated to explain. People have to Google it. But so he's a little concerned that my bone actually isn't completely healed, which means you can break your leg. So first step of action is CT. And I'm like, oh, that's great. So he just doesn't want to miss anything. I appreciate how thorough he's being. He was like kind of apologizing, like, sorry, I just don't. I was like, I'm concerned about this. I just don't agree that this is okay. And I'm like, that's fine. Like, I would prefer you be thorough. Uh, so yeah, he was like, and your last doctor, like, he said it was fine. He never said anything about it. He said, look good, it's fine. I'm like, nah, like, never said anything. And so that's when he's just like, I don't agree with that. So we're going to take a look. So that's fun. Things just keep getting a little more complicated, but I do appreciate the thoroughness. And if I can get more answers, that's what matters. So stay tuned. That's all. That was very long winded. How are you doing?
Hey, at least you might get some answers eventually.
Yeah.
I'm doing all right. My anxiety has been crazy lately. It's affected my sleep, so that's kind of a bummer. My
I
bike
hate
got
that.
stolen, which I was also bummed about. So it was like a weird week. um,
Yeah.
Last week and this week, it's just been kind of off. Like, um, I commute everywhere on my bike. And it was really annoying because it was like I was all set up with like to have everything in my backpack, and then I kept forgetting things when I leave to drive somewhere now. So like I went to the gym once in my Birkenstocks, and I'm like, fuck, I forgot shoes. And I forgot my headphones one day. It was just like because everything was so centralized. I just kept forgetting things. So I'm very much one of those people who, if like it's not in my orbit of like sight, I don't remember it. I just won't remember it. I won't think about it. So it has to be like, that's why I keep everything like kind of packed up and ready to go. Things that I use daily. So I've just been off essentially lately, but that's okay. Getting back, I'm getting there. I'm rolling with the punches, so I'll be all right. It's just been a frustrating week, to say the least.
Oh man, that definitely sounds rough. But it's also amazing, like, you know, when your anxiety levels are high, how easy it is to forget basically everything.
Everything. It's just like,
It's like,
I literally, yeah.
yeah, no, that
I'll
sucks.
walk
But
out
I
without
feel you.
all kinds of stuff.
You're like, I forgot what day it is. I forget who I am. Like, there's,
What am I doing?
yeah.
But I just feel a little scattered brain right now. But that's okay. I'm getting through it. I'm excited because it's getting cold here, but the pumpkin festival is this weekend, and that's how I'm using my treat meal. So I'm very excited about it.
Oh,
It's like
what kind of stuff
so.
do they have at the pumpkin festival?
So this is the thing. It's in like BFE, Ohio, and it is like the biggest pumpkin festival in the States. So they have the world's largest pumpkin pie. They grow these massive pumpkins that weigh like 1,600 pounds and shit. And so they have like the biggest pumpkin contest. I don't know. It's a lot of fun. I like it a lot. There's a pet parade, which I am making sure I get to, where all the pets are in costume.
That's
But
amazing.
the food is like baller usually. It's like pumpkin everything. Like last year was awesome because it was right after my show, and we went, and like I had a pumpkin sundae, which was a pumpkin roll and pumpkin ice cream. There's pumpkin chili dogs, there's pumpkin burgers, there's pumpkin donuts, fudge, anything you would ever want. Pumpkin
Wow.
food.
All things
Pancakes.
pumpkin.
Pancakes are good.
Oh, those
So
are,
many
yeah. Pumpkin pancakes? Yes, please. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Pumpkin
Very excited about it.
burgers. What the fuck is that?
No idea.
How do they
No
manage
idea.
that?
I've never had it.
It sounds interesting, Mike. Is it vegetarian or do they use like the pumpkin as
No,
a
I think it's
bun?
meat.
Like
I think
they
what
just
they do is like they put pumpkin in the ground beef. Is my guess.
okay, that's weird, but whatever floats their boat.
I don't know. Maddie
Like,
had a pumpkin chili dog last year. It
what
was
was
pretty. She
like?
said it was good. It was pumpkin chili on
Well,
a hot dog.
I could see there being pumpkin and chili because I make butternut squash chili, so I put butternut squash in there instead of like beans. So like I could
Yeah,
see that tasting good, but the burger thing, I'm kind of like that's weird. It's a little weird.
I don't
Unless
know.
it's like a
Never
sloppy
had it.
Joe.
Yeah, it probably is. So I'm
Well,
very excited
it's
about that. So I think it's gonna
if you
cure
see
all
it,
of my
let
anxiety.
me know. Let me know
I'll just take a
how
picture.
they do that. Yes, I need to figure it out. I'm just curious. um, so yeah, speaking of pumpkin and food,
Look
I
at
mean,
that
holidays.
transition.
Holidays are coming up. Thanksgiving, Halloween being the soonest. So yeah, I figured we could discuss that because I know people get tripped up on the holidays. They're like, what do I do? Oh my God, I'm going to gain 20 pounds. And it's kind of like, well, you don't have to. And you don't also have to just like not enjoy yourself. So I figured we can let people know
Yeah.
you can kind of have your cake and eat it too, but just don't eat all the cake.
Yeah. What's your favorite holiday?
Probably Christmas, but I do like Thanksgiving. Just well, I mean, I went to culinary school, so Thanksgiving is
Yeah,
kind of like the
you're
big
made
chef's
for it.
holiday. Yeah, the only problem is you never get a chance to never like not be the cook ever again. It's kind of just this given, like, oh, you went to culinary school, so you can do Thanksgiving dinner, and it's just like, well,
The
yeah,
whole thing.
technically, yeah, yeah, like literally the past like whenever since I graduated culinary school, I have cooked a Thanksgiving meal. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to do on your own, but it's like it's rewarding at the same time. But it's definitely a marathon cooking day. But yeah, yeah. I
I
don't know.
can't
How about you?
imagine. Halloween is my favorite.
Okay.
Always. The whole month of
Do you
October.
do you usually dress up for Halloween?
Oh yeah, every year. We're actually yeah, because we always I used to have a party every year outside with like a bonfire. Um but yeah, I always dress up. I think this year is the first time we're gonna actually have kids for trick or treat that'll come around.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of excited about that. But
Nice.
yeah, I just love those fall flavors of everything. And I love
Yeah.
the weather. I love the activities. I got the
Same.
dogs' costumes.
Plus, I feel like in the fall, there's like so much to anticipate. You're like, oh, the holidays are coming, and yeah, just the colors and stuff. And then
Hmm.
after the holidays are over and like the winter, like from winter to spring, that part is like just drags on. It's like, what? Can this? I don't like
Yes.
this anymore.
Yes. And the other reason though I like Halloween is that there's no obligations to anything. So like for
True.
Christmas and Thanksgiving, you always have to go not have to. I know like a lot of people like it, but there's like a lot of stress about Thanksgiving and
Ugh,
Christmas and usually there's always drama and like family obligations and Halloween is simply fun. And it's
that's
just
true.
like do it whatever you want to whatever level you want. No one questions you, no one bugs you really. You just kind of like do your own thing. And I like
That's true.
that.
I used to be more into Halloween because I like to dress up as like what I wanted to be or like who I wanted to be. And like now I'm like, I just want to be me. So I don't really want to dress up anymore. But also, I'm too old to have dreams of looking up to someone or being like, I want to be like them. I'm like, I can't do that anymore because I'm old as fuck. So I'm just going to be myself and dream that my knees stop aching in the morning.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's
Well,
still fun though. And there's
yeah.
candy.
Scary movies are my jam, though. I like Halloween. Like October Netflix is amazing.
October Netflix is amazing. I just saw
Yes.
Halloween, the new Halloween too, so I liked it.
Oh, we've been
Pretty good.
watching Midnight Club on Netflix,
Oh,
and
I started
it's
that too.
it's good. Oh, how do you like it so
I
far?
like it. So far, so good. I'm only like 2 episodes in though.
Okay, it's kind of like I feel like kind of slow at first, but it's I just like the stories aspect of it. You'll see more as it unfolds, but yeah, I don't know. I like it. I'm a sucker for
Oh yeah.
that kind of shit.
Yeah, and that guy who does who did Midnight Club did like all those other good ones like Haunting of Bly Manor and Haunting of Hill House,
Hill
all those ones.
House and
Yeah,
Midnight Mass, but I didn't really like that one. That was like real gory
it was
and
weird.
weird. I was like,
It was
whoa,
real
this is kind
weird.
of triggering. It was like religious oriented, and I mean, they're all
Yeah.
kind of secretly. So I'm like, I see what you're doing, but I still watch it. So yeah,
We got
but
on a tangent.
yeah, we're
Oopsies.
just gonna talk about scary movies this whole episode. So no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, this is actually just
Uh,
for Halloween.
so holidays. How do you usually handle the holidays?
So usually what I do is I just what I everything is normal for me until the day of the holiday, to be honest. Like I just go about my routines, everything stays the same, and then on Thanksgiving I have my meal, my Thanksgiving meal, however I celebrate it, and then I go back on track. That's kind of it. For Christmas usually like in December there's a lot more events, I feel like. Um so usually I try my best to line those up with treat meals. Um, which usually works out fine. So like with like work Christmas parties or like friends givings or friends Christmas parties and stuff like that, or Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. Um, I try my best to line it up with treat meals if that is not possible. Like for Christmas and Christmas Eve, because I have to, we hang out with Maddie's family and then we hang out with my family. I usually will have like 2 meals sometimes that are treat meals that week, and then just get back to business on as usual. I always tell my clients like the you can have like experience food and not worry about it. So like experience food for me, it would be like your birthday, or
Yeah.
like holidays. Like go make a memory and have the food that's associated with that, and then just get back on track. Like it's one meal
Yeah.
is not going to make or break you ever.
Yeah.
So don't worry about it. Don't let that
Yeah.
anxiety start rolling. So, and food isn't
Yeah.
transactional, so you don't need to work out extra. You don't need to starve yourself all the other days. Just get back on track afterwards.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah. Yeah. So for me, it's all about keeping it to that one day. I think the biggest reason people usually gain weight over the holidays is because it's like, oh, there's Thanksgiving, and then there's leftovers for like a week, and essentially you're having Thanksgiving for a week straight. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like if you just keep it to the one day, I mean, you could probably use the turkey for like use up the leftover turkey, but it's the potatoes and all the casseroles and all like the really carb plus fat heavy foods. Like if you continue those throughout the week, it does add up. And then if you do the same thing with like Christmas and or whatever you celebrate, but then there's like the parties, the Christmas parties, all that stuff, and it's just um, like there's more drinking and stuff like that. And I would still advise people to watch that and be careful and not necessarily be like, no, don't participate, but just keep things in mind with how many days you've celebrated. If it's like you've been celebrating for a few days every week, maybe take that into consideration and be like, maybe I'll just keep it to a minimum this day.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's like keep it to one day, don't stress over it, and then get back on track the next day. And it's funny how people tend to stress about the holidays the most, being like, oh, I don't want to ruin my diet. There's Thanksgiving, and then there's Christmas, and then there's New Year's and stuff like that. But chances are, any other time during think back during the summer, how many times did you eat off track, like, without even thinking about it, accidentally, without stressing over it? It's like, just because there's these bigger holidays that revolve around food, it's really not any different. It's like a scheduled cheat day.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm like, I'll keep it to one day and I'm good. I'm not gonna worry about it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think you're right about like the drinking is what a lot of people like struggle with. I think in especially when Christmas parties start rolling around, is like everybody's like, oh, it's free, and no one wants to turn down free. And I'm like, well, just because it's free monetarily doesn't mean that it's just like you have to do it. And drinking always leads to eating, and if if that's one of your struggle points or your trigger points, just be aware of that and either take it into consideration and don't participate, or like if you want to drink a little bit, I always recommend like switching like an alcohol and then like a mocktail or a seltzer water or something along those lines, and just like try to keep it to a minimum. Um, have fun, but you don't always have to overindulge if you're doing it just because everybody else is.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, ultimately, I feel like I don't want to poo-poo on beer, but man, that's the one with the most calories. It's like that shit adds up so quickly. And 'tis the season. You could easily do like a sugar-free cranberry juice with, like a shot of vodka, and you can have like a pretty low-cal type of festive drink. There's just ways that you can keep the calories down. Um, But then I would also challenge people is when they say, I want to be able to enjoy myself. I want to be able to have fun. I want to, and that usually when they say I want to have fun, that usually involves drinking. But then you got to ask, like, do you not feel like you can have fun without alcohol? I just, I'm not trying to like shame anyone who drinks because I'm socially anxious. It's way more fun if I drink. But yeah, just something to look at and be like, why can't I have fun without alcohol?
Yeah. Well, and then I think so. I have I struggled with this for a long time, and I've heard clients who have struggled with something similar. Is like when you used to be a big partier or you used to drink a lot, and then you try to either stop or slow down or try to stick with your goals. People start asking questions, and it makes it so uncomfortable. And I think this is really common through the holidays because parents will ask, family will ask, brothers and sisters will ask, friends will ask who you don't see all the time, and it gets really overwhelming sometimes for people. And I just want to remind everybody, like, you don't have to answer. My go-to excuses, if you don't want to like go into like your new goals or your new like thought process about it, if you just don't want to go into it, say you're on a new medication. Um, Antibiotics you're not usually supposed to mix. You're not supposed to mix with like antidepressants or anything. And usually, if you say it's a medication, people will drop it.
Yeah.
Um, so you can always do that. Like, and it's kind of like, yeah, it's a lie, but like if you really don't want to get into it with this person that you're not going to see very often, um, that's one of my go-tos. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
or you
That's
can always do the koozie, or like Cody said with the when you get like a sugar-free cranberry juice or something, or even like a Sprite, put a lime on it, make them put it in a rocks glass, and it looks like a drink. So
that's true.
people won't bother you either.
Yeah, and then you can like no one will notice you're sober because they'll be all drunk, and then you can just pretend you're drunk,
That's
and
one
then you can
hundred
wait,
percent sure.
and you'll remember everything, which is probably why you want to drink. But it's it has its benefits. You wake up the next day feeling not like shit. So but also, yeah. So if you want to drink, try to keep it to the low calorie alcohols, lower. And if you don't want to drink, don't feel bad. You could give them the Kel excuse, or you can simply just be like, nah, I just don't want to drink today. And if they keep asking you questions, be like, I just don't want to. Eventually they're going to drop it because it's like sometimes you just don't want to do something. That's okay.
Yes, absolutely, and it is okay. I wasn't trying to insinuate that, but I know like especially if it's like freaking strangers or like someone I see once a year, I'm like, I'm not going into this with you. And I use my excuses.
Yeah. You should just be like, well, I don't, my AA sponsor probably wouldn't approve. They'd be like, they would be like,
Oh,
What?
oh,
We need to talk."
shit. Yeah, but
They would drop it pretty fast, though.
and with that, and with a lot of the day after stuff. So like, if you drank and you ended up having food or something, I get a lot of people who have like terrible guilt the next day. And I think this happens a lot with like the food, overeating food, especially in the holidays and stuff like that. You kind of sometimes you get carried away with like cookies or something just because everybody else is doing it, and like it's happened to me before, and you just feel like immense guilt. Have you ever felt like that, Cody?
Oh yeah, for sure. Plenty of times.
So how do you talk yourself off a ledge after that?
Um, Man, I pretty much just tell myself like it's like if it's the next day, it's just kind of like can't change what happened yesterday. It's a new day. You'll feel almost completely normal tomorrow. You won't even remember. So it's like once you have a full normal day under your belt, you're kind of golden. Your brain's just like whatever. We're back on track. Doesn't matter. So it's kind of just one day back to normalcy, and by the next day, that whole guilt thing probably won't even be there. Uh, So I feel like most people will always have a tendency to undereat the next day because they feel like they should because they ate too much the day previously. But I would say like just listen to your body. Don't force yourself to eat, but also don't restrict because then you're just gonna end up wanting to like go ham on something the next day because you'll be hungrier. So just getting back to normal as quick as possible is like biggest suggestion I could give.
Yep. Yep, exactly. And don't feel like I know you always feel that guilt, but what I've been really s- using to kind of help with my anxiety and it sometimes helps with the guilt thing is like going through like journal prompts and trying to find like and just getting it out because once I know for me once I get something out on paper it's kind of like out of me like that's like
Yeah.
its final go. And so I know that I've been experimenting a lot with that in the last few months, and it has been making I think a sustainable change, like a difference, I suppose.
That's awesome. That also reminds me, this isn't, I don't know. So I just discovered this thing called 750 Words. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's this
Mm-mm.
website. It's based off of like some writer, I think, made it up of like writing 3 pages a day, just quickly. It's journal, it's nothing that you're looking at. You're not like editing it or judging yourself. You just have to write 750 words a day and then it like keeps track of your streaks, but it's like really cool for journaling because it kind of forces you, even if you feel like you have nothing to write about, when you approach the blank page and the challenge of keeping your streak going, it is so helpful. And then you get to like empty your brain every day, and so it makes things a lot more clear. So if anyone has
No,
trouble
that's a good
journaling, I
one.
would say check out it's 750words.com. You could probably just Google it, and it's a good little journal motivation to
Hell
look
yeah,
into.
that's awesome. Is it free?
Uh, there's a free like 30-day trial, and after that, it's I think it's donation based.
Oh, cool.
So you can I think maybe it's like $5 a month or something like that, but it's like real minimal. Uh, yeah, so I would say worth checking out because the people who make it basically the money they get from it is just to sustain it. So they're not trying to
Oh,
like
good.
profit off it. Yeah.
That's pretty dope. Sounds good. I'll
Yeah.
have to look into that. But 750 words sounds like a lot of words.
It is. I mean, it can definitely take. There's definitely days where you're like, I don't know if I can fucking do this, but the fun part is you just like start writing shit down just to fill the spaces, but then eventually something like comes to your brain and you be like, oh, that's something I need to like work through, or just something that starts coming out your brain into your fingertips. So it's just really good when you feel like emotionally constipated, I guess you could say, because it just kind of gets things moving. It's like a laxative for your brain.
Love that. That's really funny. Cool.
So sorry for that tangent.
No, I think that was useful. Let's see. What other things do we want to talk about holiday related?
Um, I think uh, also, so say, well, I think there's guilt in like different aspects of it. So maybe, when it comes to someone wanting to pour you a drink or someone offering you certain food, like maybe, you know that you can enjoy yourself that day, but there's just one thing in particular that's just like overboard. It's okay to say no. Like maybe it's like I'm trying to think of, maybe it's this like massive piece of pumpkin pie or something that someone's trying to give to you and you're just like already full. Like you can say no, or you could say like maybe a smaller piece or something like that. I feel as though holidays are huge boundary testers with people that are in your life.
Yes.
So I feel like boundaries around the holidays are tested and practiced, and maybe start practicing boundaries now.
Yeah, that's a good point, and I think you're 100% true. And I think the other thing about that is once like I know a lot of people travel home for the holidays, and it can be really triggering to be back where you came from, and like
Yeah.
with and you fall into old habits really easily. I know like going back, and if like your parents stress you out, you're like, okay, where the hell can I go in this small town? And it's like the bar, I guess. Like, and it's and things can go from there. Um, and so I think, yeah, having boundaries, having a plan. You can also, and I know it's not sexy, but like you can also pack food if you want to like really do well. And like if you're staying for a couple days or go to the grocery store, it's not fun, but like people who love you should support your goals, if they understand them. You do have to give them the chance and understand why it's important to you, why um, this can be triggering, or why it can be hard. But most people who love you will support you. And if they don't support you, that's an issue.
Yeah.
So just remember that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Were
I
you gonna
think
say
all in
something?
all, it's just like essentially the biggest thing is, well, one, you don't need to feel guilt. Two, it's okay to say no. Three, just keep it to one day. Don't make Thanksgiving a week long holiday or Christmas a week long holiday. Uh, Careful of those leftovers. Those always, like, if you have left, like if you're hosting and you have leftovers, give them to the guests. Like, here, take this. I insist. Really, it's okay, and don't let them say no. Just shove it in their face and send them on their way, and then you won't find yourself in it. Face first the next day. But yeah, essentially, don't freak out. I know people just want to do it. They want to freak out about the holidays, but just remain calm.
Yes. Well, and I think also with leftovers, you could probably find either a houseless person or shelters that will take some leftovers, depending on how it's prepared. The other thing that people freak out about is gym closures around the holidays. Have
Oh,
you
fuck.
had to
You just
deal with
reminded
that?
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't used to, which, ooh, maybe I could still, no. But, so my old gym had a key fob thing, so it was
Oh,
always
nice.
open. But yeah, the gym I go to now closes either early on holidays or on holidays, so either I'm gonna be driving up to the other gym or I'm just gonna like plan for an off day. So if you need to plan for an off day, it's okay. You can skip the gym, adjust your schedule. It happens.
Yep. And remember, one day isn't gonna kill you. It's not gonna be the worst. And you can always try to if you're going to be go away for a little bit, you can either drop into a new gym, or bring some equipment and try to make a workout at home, um, if you have to. I know my gym is closed for a day and a half, if not 2 days, around Christmas.
Dude, speaking of drop-ins, sorry, I'm gonna pull us on a tangent again, but
I'm
guess how
fine with
much a
it.
guest pass at Alphaland costs?
How much? How much?
Take a wild guess.
50
So a day
bucks.
pass at Alphaland, close. It was like $39
That's
for
ridiculous.
a 24-hour pass. It was $39, and I would just wanted to fucking, yeah. And it was so crowded, we could hardly work out. But yeah, sorry. So hopefully y'all's day passes will not be $39.
That's
Usually they're like
ridiculous.
15, 10, 15, 20 at the most. So yeah.
I know ours is 20, but like members get to bring two people a month, two guest passes a
Okay.
month. So
I think mine does that too. Yeah.
yeah,
So yeah.
such a ripoff.
I
Wonder how
know.
much a monthly membership is then.
It's over $100. I think it's like $150. So it's like a lifetime. If you ever seen a Lifetime Fitness gym,
No, I've seen them on
okay.
TikTok, but not in real
Okay, so
life.
they're basically like little malls. They got like their cafes, but they have a lot more than Alphaland. They have like pools and all like just everything. It's like luxury gym. Alphaland is kind of like that, but without the pools and stuff like that. Um, it's much more aesthetic for the influencers, but not really luxury, I guess you could say. But so Lifetime charges usually I think around like $120-$130 a month, and then Alphaland I think is like around 150 or so, and I'm just like, fuck. I mean, I guess it's worth it because they let you film. A lot of gyms don't. So if you are an influencer, I guess it probably kind of evens out to be like, okay, I could film in here, I can, build my business, but damn,
That's nuts. That's
yeah,
crazy. I would be
so
so
crazy.
pissed. Especially, is it for each one of them, or do you get access to all three at least?
Yeah, you get access to all of it. It's just, yeah. So the gyms are pretty easily accessed. You just kind of have to walk through a hallway, and then the other one's a little further. But yeah, hard to explain. But it was still it was great. Like, it was a very impressive facility, but very pricey.
Were there any cool machines?
Yeah, I don't mean, I can't say there are any more that were like different than what we have at my gym. It was like same but different brand. Uh, so one of the brands they used, I did like better. I forget what it was though. But some of them are just more helpful for short people. I guess you could say. Like,
Or
we have
influencers
this
shorter, maybe.
probably because we have this like overhead tricep extension machine that we just got. It's like an Atlantis brand, and I'm so short, it's so hard to like reach back and like grab the tricep thing. But the one that they had, there's a step pedal where you step on the pedal and it brings it forward for you, so you're not breaking your shoulders and shit like leaning back to get it. So yeah, like that was like the one thing that was seriously not important. But uh, yeah, it's a gym. It has some shit, but not anything that we don't already have.
Fair enough.
Just a lot more young
Well,
people, and I
and
feel old.
just
Sorry.
remember, everybody who's traveling for like you could always drop by the Planet, and that's only like $10 for a whole month.
Yep.
So that's
Hmm.
always an option. And it'll get it done.
Planet Fitness.
Everybody shames the Planet. Like, I have clients who can be like, I only have a gym membership to the Planet. I'm like, that is enough.
Yeah,
It's plenty. You can get started. Let's go.
yeah. Really, it is like Planet Fit. Like, whenever someone has Planet Fitness, I get excited because I coached through the COVID era, and like home workouts were the thing. And so if anyone has any equipment or any gym, I'm like, fuck yes, I am excited. So even they're like, oh, I just have Planet Fitness, I'm like, literally, that's amazing. It's cool. We can work with that.
Perfect.
It's better than home workouts. So yeah, the only difference with Planet Fitness is there's no barbells.
Barbells.
But
Yep.
yeah, so whatever.
You can do plenty.
Well, I don't know. Is there anything else to talk about with the holidays? I'm trying to think if we're missing something.
I think that's a lot of it. What we can always do another part if people have like specific holiday questions,
Sure.
because we got some time before the holidays.
Yes.
So I think that's a good way to start people off, ease some anxiety, and then we can kind of do another episode, part 2, holidays, if people have more specific questions.
Yes. And then also, we're recording on a weird day this week because I suck and I was traveling.
Yeah, that happens.
So it's like, oh, our routine is so thrown off. What day is it? So yeah, should I jump into the power talk?
Let's do it. Let's hear it.
Okay, let's go. So, this is by James Clear, so no surprise there. But it is a bit of a long one, so bear with me if I just stumble over my words constantly. Okay. Balancing success and failure is a tricky thing. I'd say 8 or 9 times out of 10, you should be succeeding. Build momentum, accumulate advantages, feast on the feeling of success, and let it feed your desire to do more. But 1 or 2 times out of 10, you should be failing. Push yourself and reach beyond your current grasp. Force yourself to try uncomfortable things. Occasionally, you will surprise yourself, and the rest of the time, you will learn. Win enough to keep progressing, lose enough to keep learning. So, I like that because people are so afraid of failure that they just get paralyzed and they don't want to do anything. But it's like, you should be failing. You should. It's part of the process. So if you're just afraid of it, you're never going to get anywhere. It's okay to fail. And you're not failing if you're trying and you're learning,
Yep. As long as you don't quit, you're not failing.
Exactly. So,
Perfect.
yeah,
That's a
keep
great
pushing.
one. Perfect. Cool.
Cool.
So that was episode 30. Oh, we have to remind everybody. No one reviewed. So we have no one to give a shirt to. So first person to post up a review on Apple Pod, we'll send you a shirt with the lab.
Yes. So first come, first serve. If that is you and you want a shirt, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts.
And answer us when we DM you.
Yes, please claim your prize if you do leave a review, because we won't chase you down. We're not detectives, so.
Yep. All right. Till next time, y'all.
Peace out.